Hi, my name is Dr. Elom. Everything I do to challenge the status quo. I believe in approaching life differently. The way I challenge the status quo is by creating environments in my life to enrich original thought, creativity, and abundance. I just happen to be a dentist. The questions that I'm answering for you today are from your comments from Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, in addition to the patients that I see every day. So keep asking them. I could talk about dentistry all day. Let's talk about the difference between what a bridge and an implant is. We'll start with an implant. You know, an implant is a titanium metal rod that is screwed into the bone. Now, titanium is the only metal known to man that actually goes through what's called an ossification process and actually adheres to the metal itself. So, while I like to say there's nothing better than what God gave us, the implants come pretty close. So, let's say you have a tooth that's removed. Now you have two teeth sitting in between. You have a space there. And so a bridge, they'll shave down each adjacent tooth and they'll put on 3 crowns, almost like a bridge. So you have 2 teeth sitting there with the space in between, forming a bridge with 3 crowns sitting on top, filling the space. Why is this important? Well, if the teeth don't have something in between it, they'll start to shift. You see, teeth are actually alive, and they like to know where their friends are. So if they look to the right and look to the left and there's no tooth there, then they'll try to move until they touch another tooth. This is where the importance of an implant comes in. Because with an implant, if the 2 teeth adjacent to the space is healthy, you don't have to touch them. You can place the implant, let it heal, and then place a crown on top of it, leaving the 2 healthy adjacent teeth alone. So, the importance between getting a bridge and an implant is that with the bridge, you have to shave down potentially healthy teeth. And an implant, you don't. And I always say getting an implant is first-class treatment, because if it's done properly, it could potentially last the rest of your life.
Dr. Elom, how do you know when a patient should get an implant?
Well, I like to go into every case with an open mind. There are so many variables that go into should you, shouldn't you. There's finances, there's bone density, there's fear, right? One thing that isn't a factor is age. You know, I have some patients, they'll come to me, oh, I'm too old for an implant. Well, let me teach you a little bit about bone morphology. The bone is always in turnover. What does that mean? That means the bone is always growing and dying. There are molecules inside the bone that stimulate its bone growth and its bone death simultaneously as to keep the bone fresh. The only reason we have bone in our mouth is to hold the teeth in. So when we lose a tooth, the bone sends signals to the brain that there's no use for it anymore, and it will go through a resorption process. Basically, it disappears. The importance of an implant is that if you place the implant inside the bone, it will tell the brain that it has a purpose again. So it will stay and it won't resorb. So why is it important to get an implant? To prevent bone from reabsorbing and disappearing in your mouth after a tooth is replaced. So, in my personal opinion, that's the first-class treatment. And like I've said before, there's nothing better than what God gave us. But the implants come pretty close. Why do they come pretty close? Because the titanium metal in implants is the only metal known to man that actually fuses to the bone. It goes through what's called an ossification process, where the healthy turnover of the bone recognizes the implant as a kind structure, and it fuses to the bone, and it allows the implant to stay sturdy just like the roots of our original teeth. And if you're able to get that and keep it clean and keep it healthy and go to your checkups every 6 months, it should last for the rest of your life. So thank you guys. I hope this video helped bring a little bit more understanding to the dental world, to the dental field. Hopefully it empowered you to have a little bit more confidence and reduced anxiety the next time you step in the dental office. But please keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming. Slide in my DMs, comment on all my posts. I will answer your questions. Thank you so much for inquiring. And please stay flossing and keep smiling.